unmute us, and now they can hear us and they can see us. So, what's up, Hunter? I'm very happy to have you back here. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Last time we spoke was we actually double checked. It was on April 21st, which is right now. It is pretty much exactly 2 months ago. A lot of things has happened since then. So, how has that been for you?
It's been great. It's really awesome to see how the project has gained some traction and progressed, and very thankful for the community and the people that have supported us so far. It's cool to see how many people kind of share that same spirit of exploration and want to participate in a project around Mars and you know learning about the science of it and enjoying the artwork. And so yeah, it's really great to see that. And um excited to talk a little bit more about it and give an update on some of our future plans and how it's progressing.
Yeah, and you had a crazy first sale. I mean, it went way over my expectations. That's for sure. How was it compared to your expectations?
Yeah, it was awesome to see. I mean, we minted over 1.5 million NFTs on the Wax blockchain so far. So and that's been great. It's definitely um, you know how it's helped us bring in some new developers. It's helped us bring in some designers, tokenomic experts to support the ongoing development of the project. And we're working on a team page, so hopefully people can dive into a little bit more about the awesome team that's being assembled to work on it. But yeah, I mean, it exceeded my expectations. It was awesome to see and really encouraging, for me and the team. And I'm excited to continue building this, and it's been really fun. And personally, I love Mars. I love kind of researching it and learning more about the technology needed. And with Mission 2, we've been able to create some, I think, pretty cool designs, and I think people really like to explore and dive deeper into what we've been thinking about and how we picture the colony progressing. And yeah.
Yeah, and first when we spoke, so if people doesn't know how it worked, you had an unlimited sale for 24 hours, and people could buy as much as they wanted to buy during that time, and after that they could not buy any more packs. During those 24 hours, there was a lot of packs sold, a lot of them. I think that you might be the biggest single sale on from a wax perspective, wax token. I don't think you passed the Garbage Pail Kids Series 2 in value, but I haven't done the math, so I could be wrong there. They did sell for a nice chunk of money, but you could have passed them. I don't know. And Alien Wars was kind of big as well, I guess. Uh, but when we take that apart, the first sale, the majority of the NFTs were supposed to be just pure collectibles, and then we have the ownership NFTs. But I have heard that some of this has changed. So what has happened since then, and what's the status right now on all of the different NFTs, and how will they play into the game?
Yeah, so I guess just to give a background for anyone who doesn't, know what Colonize Mars is, our mission is basically to tell the story of colonizing Mars in an accurate and compelling way, so people are more inspired to become, explorers of the final frontier. And we really want to just make Mars seem possible. So through our artwork, through our digital collectibles, um, we want to inspire about potentially colonizing Mars in the future. So yeah, we're designing and building that Mars colony simulation game. And there's essentially two kind of, I guess, categories of cards. There's ownership cards, which are really unique. They're one of one, um, unique cards that are the equivalents of a piece of equipment or vehicle or soon to be astronauts on our interactive colony map. And so people can, purchase those, and those will be on, your wallet address would be reflected on the map. And then there's the base cards, which are all of the other NFTs that you can get by, purchasing supply crates, or and inside of there you'll have there's basically five rarity variations of all those cards. So Right now, we only have 20 ownership cards in mission 1. In mission 2, we're releasing some more, and we'll share some details about that in the coming days. But obviously, there's many more base cards. So what we've decided to do is design our gameplay around including those non-ownership cards in basically a staking system, so that anyone can play the game who has at least one of our cards. So we really wanted to make sure lots of people were included and could participate in the gameplay. So that's really what we've uh, been trying to do. So I can talk a little bit more about the staking in the game and some of the mechanics there of how we see the colony progressing as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure that we want to dig into that. But first, like just so to understand this, if you have any of the Mars card NFTs in your world, you are able to play. So it's like a ticket or like an I don't know, like we should have a key to play the game as we do in all different kind of like a CD key to take part of it. Uh, was that the correct assumption that I made? That it will work like that?
Yeah, and it's the reason we want at least one card is so that people who have collected an NFT of ours can play, and it kind of helps keep the player base, like keep spots out and things like that. But also if you have multiple cards, the way that we've designed it is the quantity and quality of cards matter. So the higher the rarity of your cards, the more it will influence your ability to earn Marsha token in game.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty fun. Hopefully people really enjoy the mechanics that we're thinking about. And the first phase is essentially the most important part of the early colony will be maintaining the equipment, maintaining the infrastructure, and keeping it operational. So the first part of our gameplay is exploring that. And so people that have our digital collectible cards can go into the game and basically use their cards to help maintain the colony.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that things has changed to the benefit of the community. That is awesome. I mean, you have an idea and then you have to take it out, you have to test it, and then you have to see what the response is, and then you have to adapt it, which from my perspective, it looks like you have been doing. So that is awesome.
Yeah, it's super important, I think, to take a community centric approach, and that's always been on the forefront of our minds, and as we developed it. And it's really cool to see the ways that people are imagining the colony to be. And we have an international community. We have people from all over the world, and there's just been some awesome contributions from those different communities. Like for instance, we have a Russian speaking community, almost I think 600 members on Telegram, and they took the initiative to design their own patch and flag, and been thinking about different ways to organize the colony. And we really encourage that, and it's great to see that. And that's really part of the fun of it, in my opinion, too, is people imagining what is it like to be on Mars, how do we organize.
It's warm.
um, so yeah, it's cool. So I'm really blown away by our community, and the way that they've kind of taken things into their own hands in certain ways. And I want to encourage that, and the team loves that. So
Yeah, and we have some questions from the chat, and I will try to summarize them. So we have a few people asking about the sketches. They said that they burn a lot of cars to get the sketch, and what will a sketch be for? Do we have any info on what that, like? Can you go through what that actually means, or what a sketch is?
yeah.
This is one of the sketches that I have, for example.
Yeah, so for mission 1, when we have a crafting system in place where you burn three cards of a lower rarity tier to get one card of the higher rarity tier. And if you got all the way up to legendary and you burned 3 cards and there were no ownership cards left, because there's only 20 ownership cards. So those all got claimed within the first few minutes of our crafting window opening. Then
Yeah.
you receive a sketch card. So, you know, they're basically for people that have completed that entire crafting cycle, and it is, you know, an artist sketch of our whatever that item is. So in actually, I think about an hour, maybe 2 hours, about 2 hours, we're going to be releasing some more details of their use. So we've decided to have a unique use for the sketch cards for mission 2. And then after that, they won't have use in the game. So, you know, we're going to release more info on that, and we're going to do that in our Discord and our Telegram and our Twitter. So definitely, you know, follow us over there and you'll get the latest.
And if you want to know, that they are all linked in the description if you want to find them. Very easy. Or you can just go to mars.cards and you can find the website there. So yeah, I think that let's talk about staking, because staking is something that is very hot. Everyone sees, hey, NFTs, they see staking and they want in. So what are you doing with staking, and how will that work?
Yeah, so like I was saying before, we're in a pre-game phase right now. So you know, mission 2 coming up will be your purchasing supply crates that have, you know, NFT cards inside of them that are digital collectibles and artwork. And then when our gameplay opens up in September, you know, we'll have sort of the first thing that we're going to be doing is the most important activity that we see in the colony to start is maintaining the infrastructure and the equipment. So as a player, you'll be essentially owning Marsha token by helping maintain the colony. And like we were talking about a little bit, there's the ownership cards, and each colony item has a corresponding ownership card and an owner attached to that card. And then there's the players that have non-ownership cards, and they can stake their cards to an item of the same type. So the total reward pot for an item is determined by the amount and the rarity of the cards staked to it. And so those payouts are essentially equivalent to the utility that that item has to the colony. So imagine, you know, a solar panel array might produce 5 kilowatts of power. Maybe the colony needs, you know, a 50 to 100 kilowatt energy allocation to be operational. So you can imagine that's kind of how we're thinking about determining the Marsha payouts, and those will happen in intervals. So those could be daily or every few days, depending on the complexity of the item. So once you have your card staked, you're sort of eligible for those in-game payouts of our in-game currency, Marsha token. And what's cool is the owners can set a fee that's taken from the staking player's payout. So we think it'll be kind of an interesting dynamic for, you know, owners to be attracting different players to stake to their items. And then the way that there's an additional kind of bonus multiplier for payouts depending on if owners consistently maintain their items. And staking players can also help contribute to that bonus multiplier. So, you know, for instance, if an owner can consistently maintain an item for 7 or 10 or 20 or 100 straight intervals, that multiplier gets higher and higher. So we think that'll be pretty fun, and people will enjoy it. And of course, it'll be like a little mini game for maintaining items. And this is all happening within our colony map on our website, which is mars.cards.
Okay, so I will try to break this down and see if I understand it. So first, we have the ownership cards. We have right now 20 of them. And me as an owner of an ownership card, I don't have one even. But if I had one, other people can stake to my ownership card, and I can set a percentage that I get from the staking rewards, and they can move their stake to another one. So I want to attract them, so I might increase it or decrease it depending on what I do and what happens. Mm-hmm. And you also had different kind of benefits for other cards, so you can stake like another type of NFTs as well. Was that correct? Or is it only ownership cards you can stake to, or could you stake to like other tools that are available, or another car or something?
So there will be different ownership
Rover.
cards that represent, you know, various items in the colony. All the ownership cards are pretty similar in terms of their use in the game. So they all represent, you know, ownership of an item, whether that be a vehicle or a building. Uh, Astronauts, we're calling them sponsorship cards, but they're essentially the same thing as ownership cards. And so, yeah, if, for instance, you have, you know, a rare rover card and you can decide, I want to stake this to rover one, or I want to stake this to rover two. And when you stake that, you'll have the ability to participate in the maintenance of that item.
Okay, yeah. So for example, since I have this one, so this is one that is a good one that I could stake to the rover.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. And we'll
So,
have, I believe we have one more rover coming in mission two. So you have sort of an option of, you know, which rover you want to stake to. And then, of course, solar panel arrays, there's a larger quantity of those. So it'll be more interesting to see kind of how that progresses as well. So each item has a different quantity within the colony. So that's why some of the payouts are slightly going to be calculated slightly different. And we'll release more about the specifics of, you know, the numbers and all of that later on. We're still working that out, and obviously that takes time to really make sure that it's balanced.
yeah, and yeah, that's good. It's kind of like an Alien World land, but it isn't, because you can stake other NFTs to it. But with the percentage of fee, instead of miners, you have stakers, and you get some rewards for it. So that's great. And we knew from the start that an ownership card is what you wanted. That was very clear from the first interview. But as people have said in the chat, they went very fast and it was very hard to get. And I've seen them selling on the secondhand market for a nice chunk of wax tokens. So there are some strong believers in the Mars card, and there are also people that are upset about Mars card, which I think is kind of fair, considering it blew up into something rather big during the first 24 hours of the sale. So there will be people that didn't understand it, or don't believe in it, and they buy it in hopes to get a quick gain, as they do on every other NFT release. So how has that process been? I'm sure you have had a lot of annoying people in the chat, or people that are they are outright calling it a scam, or they are calling it something bad. What's your response to those people?
Well, you know, we took time to develop, you know, the roadmap and make sure that our kind of intentions with the project are clear and as transparent as possible. You know, we've hired additional people to build on the project, and you know, we'll continue to do that. And you know, the community, there's definitely been a lot of I mean, there have been people, usually it's like maybe they don't understand like a certain part of the project, or they haven't kind of like, you know, researched it to the extent where we communicate, you know, certain things. We're trying to be as clear as possible, but you know, it happens. But we hope that people see, you know, this is we're fully dedicated to this. You know, I'm working full time on this. We have you know, a team of people that are working on the development and the artwork and the story, and we're excited to continue releasing details. And of course, Mars.cards, you know, you can see the roadmap there, and the colony map, which is the 3D interactive map. So you know, all that's been built obviously, and is out there for people to look at. So you know, that's another thing. And I would say, you know, with the ownership cards, we've learned a lot from that first sale on how people collect, and we're making changes for that we hope will be even better received by the community. So we're constantly thinking of ways to improve the way we distribute cards and the way that we kind of encourage people to collect. And so you'll be seeing those changes in mission two, and we hope that that's another good approach for us to continue building support. And we did this a while ago, but we essentially, it's always been that we're releasing a few missions before the gameplay comes out, because we want the colony to be a certain size before gameplay. So that's why we're doing mission 2, and then, like we said, September will be kind of the first. We're targeting September for the first bit of gameplay.
Yeah, and September, like from our last interview, you were clear on that from the start that the first game experience we can see is in the autumn. It wasn't from the start. So that was for me very clear from the start, from the get-go. So, but I know people don't tend to read the FAQ. They don't tend to read the information. They buy something because they think it is something, or they hear, hey, NFT and game, and they buy it and they say, oh, it's not a game right now. It's a game under development. It is being built. It is coming later, and they miss that. So I'm happy that you can respond on this. And your team, is there a plan to showcase them properly on the website, or are they more in the back?
Yeah, we're working on a team page, so we'll we want to show our team to the community. So of course that's important, and we're working on it. Obviously, there's a lot of work to making a project like this, and at times we have to really prioritize what we're doing, and it takes a lot of effort to make just the artwork. And we've put a lot of thought into our spacesuit design for the astronauts, the design for some of the inflatable structures that you see behind me, and so that takes a lot of work as well. And it's been about 2 months, so I think we've done quite a bit, and I'm excited to share another update of this, and then of course the team page and things like that will continue to come. So
yeah, we have a so. What's the risk do you see that the owners, those with the ownership NFTs, will feel like, hey, there's only 20 of them right now. We can go together, create a cabal, and control the market. We can make sure that the fees go up to 50 or 100%. I don't know. Is there a cap? Is there some kind of control? What's your reaction if that happens?
yeah, there will be a cap on the fees, and it's like any virtual economy. It's hard to predict exactly what will happen. So our goal is to have some flexibility in the system to be able to apply nerfs and buffs. And but like we've said from the beginning, there's going to be more ownership cards that come into circulation. So you can also expect that from future missions. And the ownership card quantity is determined by the payload size and the size of the colony itself. So that's why it's limited. And of course, the first mission was very small. In a realistic setting, you wouldn't want to send up too much in that first mission and test a lot of things. So as we expand, we'll see the colony continue to get larger and larger, and the equivalent items in the colony will continue to multiply. So I think that will help a lot with balancing out the ability, the opportunity for people to own parts of the colony. And then of course, if you don't have an ownership card, you'll still be able to play the game and enjoy the gameplay with the non-ownership cards.
Okay, that's nice. And for the second mission, which is on July 7th, so in 10 days, 10 days, 2 weeks, 14
Yeah,
days,
it's close to
14 days.
Yeah, yeah, but
So 14 days, 1 hour and 37 minutes. That's when the next mission launches. People are asking about ownership cards, and you mentioned astronauts. I can't pronounce it today. It's okay. Can you just break down how that will work? How much details can you share on the sale already? Will it be the same no cap sale for a time period, or will there be a limited sale? How will it work?
yeah, so we will be announcing a lot of details in the next few days. So starting today, we will announce the sketch card use for mission 2, and then we'll be announcing the pack quantities. For this one, we will have a a smaller, amount of supply crates, and so we're limiting it. And of course, we're aware of some of the issues with bots, so we've put a system in place, and we'll announce some more details about that in the next few days. But it is also top of mind, and we want to make sure people get cards who are real people. And so that's important to us as well. The ownership cards, we're changing it up this time, and instead of crafting them, you will find them inside of supply crates.
Yeah.
So it'll be kind of randomly in supply crates, and we think that'll be fun, and more people will be able to hopefully find them, and that'll be exciting to see. So
And also, it's not the script kiddie that knows how to build a script beforehand and just hit enter when he gets the NFTs that get the first one, but it's actually more of a chance and quantity. So I think that's a good change.
yeah, so we'll see how it goes, and I think it'll be hopefully a better way of distributing those. And um, we're pausing crafting in about an hour and a half, and then once the mission 2 sale is over, we will resume crafting. And the crafting system, we're changing up a bit. It's going to be a bit more challenging to craft cards, a bit more dynamic. So we're excited to release that as well. And we'll have some.
And just to clarify, you will stop the crafting on Series 1 right now, like the Mission 1 NFTs. That's what you will stop, and you will start again after the second mission sale.
Exactly. And once the mission 2 sale is completed, the crafting system will open up, and you'll be able to craft both your mission 1. If you didn't unbox your mission 1 crates, you'll still be able to craft them with our new system, as well as the mission 2 cards. And another detail that we have is mission 2 will have new items inside of the crates only. So this will be fun. We have our astronauts, which are coming. That's kind of the headliner. So the first few astronauts are landing on Mars, and they'll be exploring and doing some scientific experiments, setting up the inflatable structures, and basically the first people on Mars. So that's the exciting thing. Those will be inside of the supply crates, and then of course we have our first structures as well, which the astronauts will be living in. So we have like a greenhouse and a laboratory, things like that. So we hope people really enjoy learning a little bit more about even the technology that we've decided to employ for these different structures, and ways that we're thinking about how can we shield from radiation, and how can we make it portable. And so we've had a lot of fun designing them, and we hope people will like them.
Yeah, that's good. And do we have any? We have a question about the crafting failure rate. Do we have some kind of information on that?
We'll be releasing all the details on crafting, I believe, on the 26th. So in just a few days. So that will have all the details on how we're going to be updating.
That's nice. That's the day after midsummer in Sweden. So now everyone knows, because everyone follows the Swedish traditions worldwide. No, but okay. So the sale is there. We have the second mission series. And one question was that if the crafting system of the first mission also changes, and that is correct, from what I understand. Just to clarify that. And what Japa is asking if there's any more missions planned between now and September, or is this the last one before September, or what's the long-term plan there?
Yeah, so we're discussing this internally. I think what we'll end up doing is probably simplifying to just have mission 3 be kind of released with the gameplay, just so that we can really focus in on finishing up the game, and getting that out there as soon as possible. So that's probably what we'll end up doing. Of course, we really want people to start. What I think is awesome about the gameplay is like it's inviting people into the day-to-day operations of the colony, and we think that'll be really fun to explore. So yeah, we want to get that out as soon as possible.
Last time we spoke about getting Elon Musk and SpaceX on board. How is that going?
Well,
Has he
it's
taken any of your calls yet?
not yet, not yet. He's busy, uh, for sure, with all the things that he's doing. So, um, but we're a big part of the project is being almost like a little bit of like an educational project around what it takes to colonize Mars. So we've been talking with some aerospace nonprofits and also people in the private and public sector to and hopefully we can have some things to announce around that in the future, because we really want to bring as many people in from other passions like Mars and space and space travel into the blockchain space. And also, if people who are following this project and are collecting want to learn even more about the technology and the science behind it, having some resources and ways for people to really dive in. Because at the end of the day, if we can inspire some more people to go into the aerospace industry, or if we can get people dreaming about Mars or wanting to be involved in kind of a professional capacity, I think that's a success with the project.
Okay, that's nice. And so Marcus is having a good question here. So when ownership cards will be in the crates, are they pre-minted? Is the first question.
Yeah, we'll be pre-minting cards for this one as well. So everyone who purchases crates will have.
And a follow-up question on that, because uh, in case all crates are not opened, all ownership cards will not be distributed, and they are still part of the game. Will it work like Alien Worlds, where even unopened lands they can interact with and mine on? Is that the same here? They can stake to NFTs that is still held in the smart contract in an unopened crate, or how it's the plan there?
Yeah, so the cards, the ownership cards that aren't claimed by any um, any any wallet will, yeah, be unclaimed. They'll still be visible on the map. They'll just be sort of like in an unclaimed category. And in terms of people being able to stake to them, we'll think that through. I think maybe we could go either way on it, but these kind of details we're still working out. But we'll make sure to update the community on exactly what we decide to do there.
Yeah, because like we have seen packs, we still see Alien Worlds packs that are not open for land, for
Mhm.
example. And since they are an essential part of the game, that seems to be an important question. So that's good. I guess there's a lot of things that you actually have to consider and think through. And when you make decisions and when you speak out of it, is there anything you have done like that and then change your mind on now because you have gotten some input that may change your perspective or something? Is that something you have experienced so far?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, with any project, it's always evolving, it's always changing, and that's I'm learning every day new things about blockchain and about wax. And another reason I started the project was to really learn more about this space and to hopefully contribute something unique and interesting that people want to be a part of. So yeah, I mean, for instance, with the ownership cards, and one of the big things was how can we involve the other NFTs in the collection. So we had that top of mind as we were developing gameplay further. Um, Another thing that we have in our roadmap is the idea of sustainably mining. So really, I think one way that we're thinking about, once once the colony maintenance is stabilized, we plan to expand the gameplay out so that people can explore outside of the colony. And after talking to a few people in the community, and this idea of how can we also really think through how to sustainably mine Mars and make it something that's eco-friendly and an example for Earth. So we've sort of built a system that people can mine on land that is of a high health rating for or resources, and then they can go on land restoration missions for land that is of a low health um, score. So basically, balancing out that that system so that it's incentivizing both restoring land as well as mining it.
Okay. Uh, yeah. So before you talked about the ownership NFTs and that, from my perspective, it sounded like the owner has to take care of them, or the stakeholders to that NFT has to take care of them. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, so basically each item will have a, I guess for the first phase of the game, each item will have a base payout multiplier. And so the owner, if they maintain the item consistently, that multiplier will,
What does maintain an item mean?
so there will be basically a interval where people can perform sort of like a little mini game that they'll click on their item, they'll perform an action, and that once they do that, the maintenance interval will reset. So that will be at minimum about 24 hours, every interval, and the owner will have a short period of time to maintain that item. And if they don't maintain it within that window, then the item does not get maintained, and then they have a potential to lose the payout multiplier that they've been accruing if they consistently maintain their item. And then the stakers can also be contributing to that multiplier daily. So if you log in and you've been, staking, let's say a solar panel array, you have 3 rare cards staked to solar panel array 6, then you can participate in that maintenance action every day if you want to, and that increases the payout multiplier slightly for whichever day, and the multiplier increases based on the quantity and quality of cards that you have staked that item. So we're trying to weight it basically around the people who have the most cards staked to an item to reward them for that. And then, of course, owners also have the ability to influence that multiplier. So hopefully it'll be kind of a communal thing where people are playing together and working together to coordinate that.
Is it just the ownership cards that will require this maintenance, or is it all the staked cards as well?
The it's essentially the items in the colony. So the owners will have the most influence over that maintenance, but all the people that are staking to it will have a smaller influence over that. But it's more on the item level in the colony, and so does that answer your question?
Yeah, like it sounds like, okay. So what it sounds like for me is that I will have to go, if I have an ownership card, I will have to go in and I will have to perform an action or play some kind of mini game. And if I don't, I will lose rewards, and everyone staking to me will lose rewards as well. Uh, and then we have everyone that is staking to my ownership card. Do they have to have some kind of maintenance on their NFTs, or can they just leave them staked and expect everyone else to take care of that ownership card? I guess that's the basic question.
Yeah. So the answer there is the the there will be kind of like a base payout if you don't do anything in the game, but that will be very low. And then there will be if people are, if the owner is consistently maintaining, that multiplier increases quite a bit. But we think, and then the staking players, they will be able to influence that multiplier as well. So that's kind of um, I guess the system. And then yeah, the if you kind of leave a card and you don't think about it too much, the payouts, the idea is the payouts will be pretty low for that. So hopefully it's incentivizing people to play the game and continue to maintain items together.
And How do you see that being dealt with? To like bots, for example, they mine on alien worlds. They do everything you can do on a blockchain that is just a contract call. They will just automate it. Is that something that is encouraged to do to maintain these, or is that something you will try to beat in some way? And what's the thinking there?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenging problem. The the current idea is to have a game, like a very simple mini game that requires a user to perform an action that would discourage kind of automation and bots. So we're still working through the details of what that would be, but that would essentially, I think, help with that problem. And um, that that will be something we'll update once we have specifics around what that can be. But our hope is to encourage people to consistently play and consistently kind of check the map and learn about the colony layout and the science behind each piece and explore that. And so yeah.
How many different ownership cards are there of each type of tool or building and solar panels and things like that?
So for mission one, there were 20 ownership cards, and within those, it's it's hard for me to recall exactly the quantity of each one, but it's on our interactive map on our website. And then for mission two, we'll have additional ones of existing items. So we'll have new solar panel arrays, for instance, that are coming into the map, and then we'll have brand new items. We'll be releasing the exact quantities in the next few days as well. But all that will be kind of in our Discord and our Telegram and Twitter and stuff
It
like that.
seems to be 4 drones, 8 solar panels, 2 cargos, 1 fission reactor, no, 3 fission
Three fission
reactors,
reactors, yeah.
1 rover, 1 fuel plant, 1 ice mining rig. Is that all 20?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
that's, yep.
yeah. Cool. Yeah, so there is a bunch of different ones at least. Yeah, because one thing they are talking about is okay, one owner is not taking care of it. Will everyone else go and stake to another one? How many options do we have? What if right now there is one person that has multiple ownerships, NFTs? It is in his best interest to keep them going. But what if he doesn't do that? What's the options for everyone else? Just accepting that their rewards will be less, or can they kind of control that in some way?
Yeah, so in our roadmap, we're working on kind of the ways to balance non-owners versus owners, but there will be quite a bit of items introduced to the colony. Our hope is that almost every single item will have at least multiple, so that there's options and hopefully some competition between owners to encourage people to change their stakes if an owner is not being responsive or not maintaining their item very well. So that's the hope behind it. And of course, these systems, like I was saying before, it's important to build flexibility into them, because the reality is we don't know exactly how people are going to play the game quite yet. So our hope is to build some of that flexibility in, so we can respond to any things that arise that we need to take care of.
Ah, that's good. That's good. And okay, so the gameplay, is there some kind of reference we can have to understand how it will work? Are you do you have a vision from an existing game and trying to take from that, or are you creating something brand new that we haven't seen before? What's your plan there?
Um, so um, the interactive map will kind of be the basis of it. So if you can imagine games with more of that like aerial view, where you're looking at the items from like a bird's eye perspective, that'll be kind of the way that you interact with the different items in the colony. We've looked at multiple games. I wouldn't say that there's one in particular that we're really moving towards. There's just a lot of different references, but um, we're trying to design something that's kind of unique and works really well for Mars colony. So, there's going to be some inventory management. There's going to be a way to maintain items and a dashboard to kind of view different statistics on the colony. And we're building that out right now. So not too much to release yet, but that's kind of the idea behind how people can, interact with the map. But yeah, this is as you're showing on your screen. This is our map here. So it's 3D. Everything's kind of in that perspective view, and this will continue to be the basis of how people interact with the game, and clicking through the different items to learn more about them, and then eventually there will be the ability to maintain them to start, and then at a certain point we'll open up those the ability to explore outside the colony. So imagine zooming out of the map and being able to look at the Martian landscape and the different points of interest. And we think that'll be really fun too for people to look at that. And we're finding ways to model it after a little bit of the real Martian landscape and the real points of interest that are on Mars.
Julia is wondering when we will learn more about the Martia tokenomics. Do you have a timeline there on more details?
I would say in the next month or two, we are working kind of on the functionality of the game to start, and working through the back end and front end systems to stand that up. And the tokenomics is something we'll start kind of thinking about as we build in the balance, and so we'll be doing that hopefully pretty soon. But mission 2 is obviously going to be released pretty soon, and then after that we'll be full force into gameplay again.
Yeah, that's very nice. So I feel like there's one thing that I was obvious that I should ask that I can't get in my head right now from this early part of this conversation. But based on what we have talked about now, is there anything else you really think we should go into discussing, or any details you want to share?
I would say definitely follow us on Discord and Twitter and Telegram. That's where we have a lot of conversations around the game and around the collectibles, and we've shared some artwork of Mission 2 already. So all of that's in there, and we'll also be releasing more details about the upcoming mission, and we're excited to do that. And
Will there be any drone racing?
I mean, not as right now, but if people really want it, we might consider it. That's kind of how we're thinking about it. Like there's core concepts that we think could be really great for this project, and we're building around that. And if people have ideas, and we really enjoy the feedback, and we want to make sure that it's community centric as we build it. But drone racing would be awesome.
And for the sale of the second mission, what kind of details are you able to share now before you put it out in print? I guess you have some reviews to do on finalizing it, but do we have any clue or direction towards the pack numbers, or different kind of crates, or some kind of percentage chance of getting one of these astronauts or something like this?
Yeah, so there will be like significantly less packs. Like the first mission we had 53,000, so there'll be a lot less than that. The let's see, yeah, it will be limited sale. So we're still gonna have like kind of 24 hours for people to purchase, but that will be over depending on if the final pack is sold before that. So whichever comes first. And the crafting, we'll be pre-minting the cards inside of the crates similar to before. So everyone will have limited or a similar chance at low mints. And the crafting system, will be updated, and we're excited to release that. We're trying to keep the prices very obtainable still. We think that's really important. So hopefully people will be happy about that. And there's more ownership cards coming in Mission 2 as well. So there'll be definitely a higher chance that people can get an ownership card if that's what they want. But of course, all the other cards are going to be really fun in the game as well. So
do we have any direction? Will it be 0.1%? Will it be 0.0005%? Like, do we have any direction how big of a chance it is to get an ownership card, or how many NFTs in each crate?
Yeah, so there will be, like the 20 base cards in each crate. I don't know if I would necessarily want to share the exact percentages, but it will be quite a lot larger than the ones that would be in Mission 1. So I think people will be pretty happy about that. But we'll share like all the details. I just want to be true to what we've released to the community, so that we can launch as expected.
Okay, that's good. And will there be two different kind of crates or one kind of crate this time?
So there will be, I guess it's going to be released. There will be three types of crates. There's going to be an additional type of crate, and it's exciting. What we're gonna share more about that, but there's going to be three for this one.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great. One last question that people have asked multiple times and we didn't even touch. You said that there will be some kind of system to deal with bots. Is there some kind of whitelist, or do you have any details on how you're gonna deal with them?
Yeah, I'll say that there will be a whitelist. We're not going to give away the specifics of that whitelist yet, but we've created a system that I think will deter bots, and I'm excited to share more about that.
They are very creative, the bot owners.
Well, it's a challenge, and we're doing our best to combat it, but
yeah,
you know how it is.
You can't really do anything more. You have to test things. You have to try out different solutions and see what works. The important thing is that you have it in your plan and you're doing your best for it. So that is awesome. Yeah. So anything people should know, except go to your Telegram and Twitter and Discord and keep up with updates. It sounds like there will be a lot of details coming out in the coming 2 weeks. The first one coming in about 1 hour from now, if I understand it correctly.
Yep.
Anything else you feel like we should mention before we call this a good date for today?
No, I think that's it. Thanks for your questions, and glad we could talk a little bit more about the project, and hopefully we can continue this conversation in the next few months, and excited to continue building the game and building the project. And thanks everyone for your support. It's been awesome to see how many people are in our groups, and very engaged in discussion. So
yeah, there was over 200 people almost all way through this interview, which is great, especially at an hour like this. And from the last questions in the chat, whitelist details will come, prices will come, crafting changes will come. It will stop in about 1 hour, if I understand it correctly, the crafting from mission 1, and it will start again when mission 2 is done. All other details will be published, I guess, on your website as well.
Yeah, we'll be sending out updates everywhere. So definitely just keep in touch with our social channels and our website.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much for coming on, and I had a fun chat, and thanks for updating me on this project. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, thank you.
Bitcoin bowl is all I have.